heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they busted your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I get my feet up. 100 meters where I run the field, and go for ching and I'm on a pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder, and put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I had to put all their egos in check. You're not entitled to anything else. I get 10 years of this under my belt. Your art is an art, they don't feel it, and nobody hears it. Initiative stay on the shelf. Your ego done got in the way. It gotta die today. It gotta go. You should be happy I lighten the load. The weight of your arrogance, heavy as stone. I make an appearance, they already know. That chip on your shoulder gon' crumble and fold, yeah. It's not a secret that you have been fearing the shit that I'm on. So you back to the brag and the boast. But I'm in a class of my own. I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check.
Good evening. Before we begin tonight's service, I'd like to just welcome you all in. Take a moment to gather in the halls. Please make sure you don't block the exits. Could potentially be a fire hazard. I see Brother Jim is in the house. Brother Eric. Brother 107 Drones is here. Wonderful fellowship we have this evening. It's just going to be a wonderful evening. I see we've got Roseanne Denton in the house, making up one of three in our female audience. I think at this point, it's only safe to say I need to bring in Brother Eddie Nunez. Are you doing a stupid thumbnail, Eddie?
I'm trying to do my thumbnail for my product review here.
Oh, okay. Is that what you're doing? It looks like you're eating the mic like Paul. What do you got there, Eddie? Show me what you have, Eddie. Tell me what you have, Eddie. What goodies do you have? Pedro McKinnon.
So I have the Flymore.
Okay, I like
Flymore.
it. Ooh, Flymore.
Courtesy of DroneWorks.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
You can't fly the Avada 1 battery. So this is going to be fantastic.
You can fly the Avada 1 battery if you lose it, though.
Yeah. And then we got the bumpers here.
Uh-oh.
The Avada bumpers.
Ooh, those look good. Those are highlighted
They look
yellow.
really, really good.
They're
yeah.
bright.
Yeah. So I have to say right from the beginning, just a plug, right? These things feel absolutely premium. They don't feel like typical. Yeah, they don't feel like typical 3D prints. I mean, like just when I took it out the packaging, it is. I don't know what sauce you put on here, but it's.
No, we
spent
time. We spent time tuning the slicers to make them like. That's why they take time. Like people are like, how come my shit's not shipping? Well, I don't want to rush that. Like we're printing in the order we receive them, and I don't want to rush that because otherwise they come out really stringy and shitty, and nobody wants that. So,
and it makes your Avada just pop.
Yeah, it does. It looks more like an FPV drone now.
Yeah,
it looks like a.
I can't wait to go and fly it.
Yeah, it's hopefully you don't lose it. Like I'm seeing a lot of people crash these things recently.
Yeah.
And I think that people are crashing them once again because they are flying them high. They're flying them in areas where they probably shouldn't be flying them. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why? But that happens, it's always bound to happen like that. So,
yeah.
Well, DJI has been crushing the release schedule in fall. Do we consider September summer or fall?
For me, it's fall. Technically, I think it's summer since today is the last day of summer. Actually,
Today's the last day
So-
of summer, so fall is officially beginning tomorrow. DJI is set to release yet another new product. I think many know what it is. It's going to be something that you can put your phone in. I would gather that's the rumor mill, and that's what
yeah,
it looked like from their teasers, anyways. It looks cool. Do I want one? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not.
yeah.
I
Same
think I,
here.
I
I
think I
think
was over. I think I was over phone gimbals like 3 years ago.
that's yeah. Phone gimbals for me is for like those parents that go to graduation and film the whole graduation with
Yeah.
their iPads.
Yeah. I hate that. I freaking hate that. It trips. It trips me out when I see people filming with their iPads. I like that trips me out.
Or
It's
taking
funny.
photos, yeah. And
Yeah.
and iPads have the worst cameras, by the way. Like they update all their tech, but they can never update that camera. I just never understood it.
Yes, dude. I still feel. I feel lightheaded from the. So I started resin printing recently, and I'm printing in my bathroom. So I can no longer go to the bathroom in the bathroom. Like I have to wear a full-fledged mask if I go to the bathroom. No matter what I'm doing, I wear a mask. But the fumes are starting to creep out into the studio area, and boy, whew, I tell you what, that'll mess you up pretty good. Not as bad as the time I thought it would be a good idea to put varnish on a table in here. I
Hmm.
don't know. Do you remember
I
that?
remember that. Yeah, I remember that
I
you fell high right before the
I
stream.
I thought it would be a great idea to varnish the review table. And you want to talk about, man, I mean, for a week I was like, hey everybody. I mean, I was living sky high with that varnish. So don't do that. Don't be
Remember
don't
that.
don't be me. Um so yeah, I'm not really interested in the release. I like to always see what DJI offers, but I'm not necessarily interested in. I do feel, however, they dropped the ball ever so slightly with the Action 3 release.
Why
I
do you
think
say that?
so. Here's the reason why I say that. When I placed my order, I woke up 9 a.m. I saw the videos drop. I watched it. I said, you know what? Let me go and order one. I ordered one. No problem. Ordered it. I later come back to look at the shipping date and it says October 4th is when they're going to ship. So now we've had like almost 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. But yet the same day GoPro releases the Hero 11, I was able to walk into Best Buy, pick up a
Hmm.
Hero 11 on launch day, walk out the store and film a video, whatever, or use it or whatever I wanted to do. I had it on launch day. So now you have people that were like, well, maybe I'd rather just buy the GoPro and skip the Action 3. Even though it's a cost difference because people by nature are impatient. Amazon has made us impatient.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I saw a few reviewers that, buy like their products, like DJI products, and they canceled.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep it because I'm interested in it. I like it. Michael Walsh says, "Ken, have you heard of people flying the Avada on manual mode and doing a sharp turn? The drone falls out of the sky." All right, let's address this because I keep seeing this and I'm watching videos. Like I watch this guy Rob HK, which guy is not somebody I would watch for FPV stuff. I just wouldn't. Right? Like it's just okay. So they're doing these sharp turns on a drone, right? So basically what's happening is they're causing a similar occurrence that can happen in an airplane. It's called a stall. It's stalling. And it can happen on an FPV drone where the velocity is just too much for the unit and you get that air underneath the props and what happens is it causes it to flip over violently. And when it does that, the drone just topples to the ground. I've seen this numerous times. I have not had this issue. Like I said, I have my rates very, very slow. So for me to do a super, super sharp turn, it's not going to happen. My sticks are very mushy. And I did that by nature because that's how these things are meant to be flown. Now, to be fair, any Cinewhoop, you can create that washout similarly. Like it's a thing with you have ducks. So you have ducks that are guarding the props, whatever, prop guards if you want to call them, because they can't even really be called ducks. But anyways, those prop guards are going to create a certain amount of prop wash. And if your drone gets caught up in that prop wash because you decide to make a very, very sharp, unexpected maneuver, there could be a potential where, yeah, you can crash it like that. Now, I have made a lot of sharp maneuvers and I haven't had that problem. My advice to anybody is it's going to depend on skill level. If your skill level is not there, yeah, that's a good potential. Now, is that a hazard crashing the Avada? It depends on how you're flying it. If you're flying at 300 feet in the air, 300 feet, when I've already said numerous times, it's not really designed for open air flight like that, then yes, that is a problem. If you're flying low to the ground, let's say 2, 3, 4 feet, guess what? It's going to be perfectly fine, even if it does. And the likelihood of you having a bobble like that low to the ground is going to be less great as if you were in open air. It's just not going to be something that you're going to have a problem with. I personally haven't, like, and I said I fly aggressive. I fly probably more aggressive than a lot of these guys that are crashing them, and I haven't had any problems. And I've been flying in numerous locations, numerous places, situations, environments, and I've had no problems. So I don't even think it's
I
anything really to worry about.
I think the first thing that anybody should do when they receive their Avada and they're going to take it into a manual flight with the FPV remote, right? Is they have to adjust the rates, because I crashed mine
Yeah.
right out the box because the rates are so twitchy. They're very twitchy.
They're very twitchy. I slowed, like, the biggest thing you can do is lower down your stick sensitivity. Bring your stick sensitivity down. And one of the things that sort of sucks with the Avada in general is you don't get a grid to see what you're doing to the sticks. So, on beta flight, when you start adjusting your sticks, you can actually see the curve of your expo. So you know what happens when you're going full stick right or full stick left. So, the biggest thing I could say to anybody is eliminate a lot of that yaw. Like, that's why I have when you see my rates, I have a very slow yaw or almost a non-existent yaw. That will help you prevent having those super, super sharp turns like that. It's going to be a very mushy turn. It's almost going to slide like a drift car into those corners. So seriously, try them out. Like, people are arguing with me about it. I'm like, you haven't tried it. Try them out before you shit on it. It makes a difference.
Yeah. So Ken, multiple people are saying that your volume is low. I hear you perfectly fine on my end.
It
Just FYI.
seems fine on my end. I mean,
I hear you perfectly fine.
I can see it perfectly fine. I would say crank up the volume.
So a few people have said that online.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say about the Avada? Oh, another thing about the Avada that I noticed is that, and like any cinema, prop wash is a serious thing with prop wash.
Right. Prop wash is a huge thing.
And if you don't have experience and you get prop wash, what do? Sometimes you panic. And when you panic, you don't necessarily know what you're inputting on the sticks. And that's how, you crash.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people crash recently. Like I said, I watched Rob HK. I watched 808. He lost his today. He called me. I was on a shoot with a client, so I didn't have a chance to take his call. But I mean, every situation is going to be different. But again, that's where flying lower with this is really going to be your best friend. Flying lower is going to be your absolute best friend. Jake's Drone Life asks, do you have a rates video? I do have a rates video. And go check it out and try them out. Because that's the thing is you can change your rates, right? You can change your rates as many times as you want and try to find that sweet spot. I always recommend doing this in an open field until you feel comfortable with the drone. Like, that's the problem. A lot of these people, they buy these drones and they just go right out and start flying like balls to the wall, and they end up losing it or breaking it. So I don't know. I mean, I would tread lightly with that.
Yeah. The Avada I try to do like tree surfing at my park nearby.
Yeah.
And I think it was maybe about 180 feet, 200 feet in the air. And that thing vibrates like crazy. Like, I was scared. I came back down. The Avada is not a drone, an FPV drone that you want to take that high up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and what's funny is that is any Cinewhoop that you get high and you start coming, like, so my Shen drone Squirt will get really, really crazy as I let off the throttle and let it drop fast. It does not like to drop fast. It's just not designed for that. It's not designed for that. So it's like put these into situations that they're going to like survive. Like that's the thing is you got to put them in situations like I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've seen a few of them. Some of them I'm just like, like they're questionable, like crashes, right? They're questionable. I'm like, I don't know. I call bullshit type of thing. So
yeah.
But for the most part, like some of them are legit. Some of them are like the Rob HK stuff. I don't know. Like I feel like he's really fishing.
Probably.
He's fishing. Like I'm just gonna be completely honest. He's fishing.
I mean, drone crashes gets views.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
for 100, especially when it's new. Like I could definitely say 100%. Like when we were out in Vegas and Billy lost his twice, like neither time we wanted to go looking for it. Like neither time did we want to go trucking off into the hot ass desert looking for a freaking drone. Neither time. And you know, and we didn't know at the time. You know, like we didn't really process the heat. And the second time, he just said, fuck it, I'm leaving it. It spent the night in the desert because we had dinner reservations. So it literally, there wasn't going to be a second video on that because he said, I'm just going to leave it and he literally ordered another one. So crazy.
Yeah.
I bought a second one. I bought one from Pyro Drone. Matter of fact, it just arrived. That's how busy I've been. I haven't even had a chance to unbox this to see, because I think this one comes with the wanker.
I was going to ask you if you bought a standalone.
Yeah, well, they didn't have the standalone available. I could buy it, and I really want a second one because I know I'm going to end up losing this shit. Just because I keep pushing it, and my luck, it's going to get stuck in a tree, and I'm never going to get it down.
That's possible.
But see, look at this. Look at how they mark this. This is.
It almost looks like it's a full bundle with the goggles.
Yeah, yeah. So you get it like this, and then it says no DJI goggles is the way they're selling it. And then you get it, but look, on the side of the box it shows it has goggles, but I don't get.
So I wonder if Pyro Drone. So they're the ones.
They must open it.
Yeah, because they're selling. If you go on their site, they're selling goggles alone for $6.99.
Yeah, so I think, like this was open. There was goggles in here. They took the goggles out to sell it.
So that's what they're doing. That's how they're getting.
Yeah, this is the wanker. I don't want the wanker. I don't want the wanker.
So that's what they're doing. They're taking out the goggles, and that's how they're selling it alone for $6.99.
Yeah, but I want it this. And the reason why I didn't buy it from DJI is because here's what people will say. Oh, you used your affiliate money to buy it. Well, no, now they can't say that because now I have some sort of skin in the game that I spent $800 and some odd dollars on this thing just for this, because I'm not going to use the motion controller like at all ever. Like I just won't do it. So, but now I have skin in the game with it. And that's technically it's the third one. Technically it's the third one I bought, but now I have skin in the game. So, but hey, I mean, it's cool that they're breaking it up, right? It gives you an option, right? But I see a lot of them doing that. A lot of these guys, and I don't know if that's against the manufacturer recommendation, like, because the manufacturer says, okay, you can sell it this way, and this way. I'm not sure if they're supposed to do this or if they're allowing them to do it, or it doesn't really matter. Maybe they're just ordering these from drone nerds. I don't really know what the deal is, but either or way, at least I have a spare of it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Does DroneWorks sell the Avada standalone? I think we had a handful of them. No, we did. We did have a handful of them because Eddie, that's how you got yours.
Yes.
So we had a handful of them at one point.
I think they're 2 weeks out.
We're 2 weeks out now on them at this point. That's the problem is as soon as you get them in stock, they're freaking gone. As soon as you get them in stock, they're gone. So I mean, maybe they did a good job with it. It's a fun little thing to fly. So why not? And like I said, you can fly it indoors. I can fly this indoors right now. The packaging is a little different on this one, though. The retail packaging is different, but I may put Care Refresh on this one. Nah, probably not.
I did on this one after my last experience. It was $125, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I did it, not because of the crash incident, because sometimes the repair is cheaper than just the refresh.
Yeah.
I did it just for the flyaway. The flyaway perspective.
I think the flyaway coverage is a good thing to have on these. Flyaway coverage, I think, is good. But I've never, with an FPV drone, you're probably not going to have flyaway. You're going to have crash and burn. I think they need to have some sort of crash protection type of thing. I think that would be cool to have crash protection. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. So,
but going back to our initial point, so September, right? DJI just on fire, releasing products after products. They just keep making announcements. We're getting a teaser email every other week, right? Or every week.
Yeah, it makes it interesting, but they're smart, right? Let's just be real. They're smart. The holidays are fast approaching. Let's just face it. The holiday season starts in October. The holiday season starts in October. You got Halloween, you get in that fall festive spirit, and by the end of October, everybody's fucking drunk on pumpkin spice and fairy dust that you're just ready to do lines of nutmeg and just get ready for Thanksgiving dinner and Black Friday. You're ready. They know, marketing 101 is let's get ready for the holidays. And push out these products, because then we can give little tidbit sales and golden tickets and snozberries and all that good shit. That's what DJI does best. They are a marketing genius. They're a lot like Apple. I said it numerous times. They're a lot like Apple. I think a lot of these other companies could really take notes from them on that. You look at Autel and it's sometimes I don't know what they're doing. They got this new thing now. They have this competition where you can win. I think it's $2,000. Autel's Flight Club. Did you see that?
I submitted.
Where you can share videos. Is that what it is? You can submit videos from your
submit a video. Yeah,
but
I submitted mine already, and I was disqualified.
Why?
I used my Mavic Pro Platinum. I told them it's equivalent in terms of video quality.
You can't do that shit, dude. You can't do that. So create a video using your Autel drone. Follow Autel Robotics. Do I even follow these guys? Yeah, I follow them. Publish your video on Instagram or YouTube and tag Autel Robotics and hashtag Autel Day. Prizes. First prize, $2,000. Second prize, $1,500. Third prize, $1,000. Submit your video by October 25th. October 25th. Who's that?
Have a month.
October 25th.
Have a month.
You got 1 month to film some epic shit.
Yeah.
That's doable, right? That's doable. I mean, you can totally film something and win $1,000 or $2,000. I think that's pretty good. $1,500.
That's pretty good. Cash.
$4,500 cash for just filming a YouTube video or filming an Instagram video.
Yeah, you could take that cash and buy Air to Us.
I mean that I don't know. I still like the light. I like the light, like the Autel light. I just wish it had 10-bit. If it had 10-bit, I think I would be happy, just so I can finesse the colors. But I mean, I get by with what I have. I mean, I've got a lot that I've been using on it and it works fine. I want to release it, but I still don't feel like it's 100% there yet. I need to tweak it a little bit more. I'm still battling a little bit of that teal. There's this green shift that tends to bleed into shots. I almost have to make 2 different LUTs for different lighting situations. I need to make 2 LUTs, one that fixes the magenta and then one that fixes the teal, and then a neutral LUT. So depending on what scenario you have, you can just drop whatever LUT you have on the Autel footage and it'll fix that. I've all but giving up on making LUTs for the Evo 2 series, but the light, I think there's potential there. If there was just if they just gave us a light with 10-bit and fix the color science like just a smidge, I think that'd be fine. That'd be perfect. And then obviously then it's being remote ID capable, which is important to a lot of people. Now that that's going to be a thing and manufacturers have to become compliant, it's going to be interesting to see how Autel handles that moving forward, because we know what DJI's plan is, and we know what is it, Wingstra, which is like such a weird brand that was ready to go with that, but they're ready to go. So now it's like, okay, now everybody else who is sort of like holding back needs to get that down. So I think that if they can develop a plan for remote ID, give us another update, maybe just, throw in 10-bit at this point. And they have that new smart controller too. So when we're at CES, they have a smart controller. It's cool. It's small. It's a screen. It's better than, it's slightly better than what ships with the Mini 3 Pro.
Talking about remote ID, right? So we have some DJI drones that have been vetted through their process. We've heard, I think Skydio, I've heard through various sources that you can ship their drone and like for $50 or some cost, they'll enable your Skydio to be remote ID compliant. Autel hasn't, to my knowledge, hasn't shared anything, or there's no.
We haven't heard anything from them, but that doesn't mean that they won't. I'm sure as time gets closer, but Autel has always been a brand that sort of takes a little bit of time and to announce things, but they usually always do. I don't see them saying, ship us your drone and we'll enable it, only because I don't think they have that capacity to enable that. I could see them making something you can mount to it, that binds to the drone. I can see that. But I don't see them saying send it back in.
But it won't be like a firmware thing for Autel.
We don't know. I don't want to say that it wouldn't, because we don't know. We don't know what it could be. We don't know what's on those right now. We don't know. I'd hate to assume that, but the other thing from an end user perspective you have to think about is a lot of technology, whether it's computers, cell phones, no matter what it is, it has a shelf life, right? And my rationalization for products that cost under $2,000 is they have a shelf life of about 3 years. That's the cycle of a product that's in the tech space under $2,000. You're going to get about 2.5, 3 years out of it before it's deemed, out of date or non-compliant, essentially. That's just the nature of how it is. Like when the only tech that I feel that is really future proof is cameras. And once upon a time, I'd say a drone would be pretty future proof. But if you go back and look at, let's say, the Phantom 3, the Phantom 4, I mean, you start treading on that line of, the Phantom 4, some people have so many of them because they're freaking disposable. My friend Sparky, he's got fucking Phantom 4 Pros. He's got Phantom 4 Pros for days. He can have an army. He can have an army of Phantom 4 Pros, this freaking guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
unbelievable.
That's a good point. But that's a good point in terms of the Phantom 4. So Phantom 4s are still being sold, right?
Right. But they're a necessary source because of that mechanical shutter. So people use that for mapping. So that's the reason why you'll find a lot of those still available. And we really haven't had something that is equivalent. Like the Mavic 3 the Mavic 3 is closed, the Mavic 2 closed, but not anything that's been equivalent to that drone for what people use it for, the various use cases. So that's still a staple for many, is the Phantom 4 Pro, at least in my eyes. We'll have to see what they replace that with. We'll have to see, but I just think it's sort of interesting that nothing has really superseded that as of yet. Pretty interesting though, if you think about it. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens going forward with remote ID. Right now, it's still in its infant stages, right? It's still in the infant stages. Like a lot of people get off about this. Like a lot of people nerd out about the remote ID shit. I don't give a shit. Because when it happens, I'll be like, all right, what do I got to buy? What do I have to do? What do I need? I worry about it like that. I don't worry about shit like that right now because I'm not gonna like macro, worry about shit like that. I don't care about that. Here, I don't care.
And we don't have the full solutions yet.
We don't have the full solutions. There's not enough information. I mean, there's information, but the information is scattered about. Like people like to go hunting for information and thinking like finding little tidbits and breadcrumbs is amazing or like some badge of honor. I don't give a fuck. I never have. I never have. Even when this first started, like 2 or 3 years ago, people were panicking, and we had time. And people, you panic. So, but it's also you don't want to wait too long. You want to stay in the know, but you don't want to wait too long to where you're left on the sidelines. So I'm silently watching and waiting. But I'd be apprehensive, I think, to buy a drone from another manufacturer other than DJI. And I'm not saying that as a DJI fan or an apologist. I'm just saying this as an investment standpoint. They got their shit together. The company that so many lobbied against, they got their shit together and they were able to make it a compliant drone. So if you're going to spend $3,000 on something, you're going to buy something from them because that $3,000 won't essentially go to waste when that does go live, right? Makes sense. So I would be more apprehensive to spend, $4,000 or $2,000 with Autel. Now, if Autel came out tomorrow and said, hey, all of our future drones, and again, keep in mind, there is a new version of the Evo. It's like the V3. I don't know. Like when we were at commercial UAV, there's a new version of it. So it has new chipsets. So we don't know what that means, right? So I'm not saying it will be, but we don't know what it will mean. They did make some improvements to it, right? They made improvements to the transmission. There was things that they did with that. And that's why you're also seeing those new RCs, which the new RCs are pretty nice. So the new RC is actually pretty nice. Not the brightest thing on the block, but I mean, if you're hell-bent on not flying DJI, then you'll be happy with that. And there's a lot of people that are like that. A lot of people don't want to fly DJI, and that's perfectly fine. So I don't know. Wedge and Big, welcome to Full Acro, my friend.
Welcome
to Full Acro. He just unlocked Full Acro.
Nice.
V3 Autel drones, Greg is saying, or Jason is saying, whomever is saying. Maybe it's Greg. I don't know.
Confirmed to be remote ID compliant.
Confirmed. So there you go. Remote ID compliant. So there's another brand. So as of right now, the only ones that are really left out in the cold is the guys over at X Dynamics, which who's going to buy a $3,000 flying fucking brick? And that's really it. I mean, we really don't have very many manufacturers out there. And then, of course,
Sony with the Air Peak.
Well, all right. So
it will get it together, though.
I think Sony will get it together. Remember, the robotics side of Sony is not a big division, but I think they'll get that together. They did make improvements to Air Peak, though. When we were there, I grilled the living shit out of Eldine, and he had a response for everything. Matter of fact, he fucking sold me a microphone. We're talking about drones. He sells me on a microphone. I don't know how he does that.
You bought it, yeah.
I know. It's like crazy. Emma, we talked about the Avada crashes. The vast majority of Avada crashes were a product of ID10T. So that's the vast majority of Avada crashes. ID10T. Do you think Autel Evo Enterprise will be compliant with remote ID without a strap on? Well, they may add a butt plug. I don't know. No, I don't know. I would hope they would have some module for the guys that purchase like the $10,000 camera, the thermal drones. We'll have to see. I don't rule anything out until they push it out, until I get literature for stocking reasons that we sell to our clients. Then I don't worry about it until that point. When I see that information, that tear sheet, the tear sheet is everything. Like when you're stocking these, like you got to know what you can sell it for later on down the road, or what, if you're selling it to departments, because we put Autel in the hands of a lot of police departments. Like it's the go-to, it's the de facto drone of choice, which is ironic because here in the state of Florida, they have a blue UAS list. And Autel's not actually on the list, but a lot of departments actually private fund the purchase of Autel products. Like they'll buy it just because they're not going to buy DJI, in hopes that eventually it'll make that list, which I think there's a good chance it could. So we'll have to see. The sheriff of my county is actually the president of the Sheriff's Association, so it's nice to be able to be in that person's ear on a somewhat semi-regular basis, and hopefully they can get something going. So
yeah, that's a nice circle of influence.
Yeah. I mean, I think, but it's like you're battling, like Skydio's lobbyists are sick. Fuck, they're just dumping some sick money into lobbyists. I mean, when Skydio first announced the S2 and they started, approaching the consumer realm, like everybody was excited about Skydio. I think the air around Skydio has changed. And it's just because they've now basically become the air map of the drone world, right? They don't have the general population of pilots' best interest at heart. They're looking to snuff out competition with regulation versus innovation. Like they have an innovative product because they have this autonomy that nobody's been able to match, but it's become abundantly clear that pilots still want to be in full control. And I don't think that that's something that they've really fully understood. Pilots still like to be in control. Even pilots that fly commercial airlines, like an Airbus plane has a lot of autonomy versus a Boeing plane. And pilots still like to have that manual input to make decisions. They don't want to give that over to AI just yet. And I don't think Skydio understands that. They're really pushing their software. And then, of course, you have these lobbyists that make it harder with the regulations, and they're in the ear chirping, and they have this ridiculous budget to push that agenda, which sort of sucks. It sort of sucks when you think about it. I mean, I have a Skydio. I bought a Skydio, bought 2 Skydios, and I don't know. I don't think I would support that any further. I think the product is cool. I like Adam, but I don't think it's the company Adam started anymore. I don't think that's the company. I don't think that's I don't think that's where he wanted to go with it. But that's what happens when you start down that dark path. I just don't think I don't know. And they really haven't updated or added to their technology. Like they're a company that hasn't produced a new product, an innovative new product. The Skydio S Plus, like the Skydio Plus, that's a joke.
That was just an enhanced.
That was an enhanced version. Yeah. I mean, and if you ask me, I think the obstacle avoidance, in my opinion, performed worse than the S2. It's still a drone that you're going to fly within close proximity. At the end of the day, they didn't change anything with the RC. You're still using a parrot controller. The protocol in which that it's communicating with the drone RC and the radio link and the video feed is still the same. Nothing changed. You just added these rabbit ear antennas for extra gain. Helps out a little bit, but that's all it did. It just doesn't make sense. And then you look at the X2, which is their commercial drone, and it's hard for me to take that serious. It's hard for me to take it serious because you have this controller that has a Galaxy S9 built in. So it's got a Samsung phone at the heart of it, like encased in this thing. I mean, I don't know. It just seems, it seems peculiar. Like you have all this money, manufacture a proper RC that is not dependent on a phone, an outdated phone at that, with an internal battery that's always being charged. I don't know. That seems weird. And they don't I've seen 2 of these things crash, by the way. Like I've seen 2 of them crash.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
At department demos. And I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So that's my rant on Skydio. Is like I used to be a big supporter of them, but I just don't feel like they're there anymore. Like I used to I was like, yeah, American company, great. But then you realize all right, you want to compete by eliminating your competition by by, just taking them out of the market, not with innovation. I like companies that compete in an innovative fashion, not because they're trying to snuff somebody out. Like, I think
It's
that's the way
true,
to do it.
and it
You know what I
makes
mean?
it just makes things better for all of us.
And for a while, like when you compare that to like what Apple used to do the same thing, right? They would see these startups that had similar ideas as Apple, and what Apple would do is either one, try to buy them up, or two, try to snuff them out. Until one day, Apple's just like, fuck it, there's too many clones. There's too many clones. All of a sudden, there's all these Android phones, all these different clones, and they can no longer snuff these people out. So it's just like you either rise to greatness or you fall to the bottom of the pool because you're trying to get rid of the competition and you no longer become innovative. So, it's the same thing. And like, look at Samsung. I hate to bring them up because I know how much Lon loves them, but Samsung I would say is a very, very forward thinking, innovative company. They are innovating the next tech, like the tech that people want to see.
Yeah,
They're really innovating that future phone that we're probably going to see, in the next 4 or 5 years. It may not be ready when they actually put it out, but they're taking that risk to actually do it. So it's
I
one of
could agree
those
with that.
things.
I always say Samsung is like the beta in the mobile space, at least the beta testers for Apple.
100%. They're beta testers. Like that's where tech goes to sort of cut its teeth and
Yeah,
figure out what works. But when we look at drones, like mostly consumer drones, well, I feel like we're sort of peaking at a point, right? We look at the Mavic 3 and we say, okay, wow, we got this micro four thirds camera. It's pretty amazing. It folds up. It's super small. It can fly for 40 minutes. They got everything down and pat. What more can you really want out of this drone? Like, what more can you want out of a flying machine? At the end of the day, they're all delivering results. They're all delivering amazing photos. They're all delivering, really stellar video. It's really hard to want much more out of anything at this point. So for me, that's where the commercial industry is becoming very interesting, because that's where a lot of innovation is happening. It's not happening on the consumer side. It's happening on the commercial side. So you got to pay attention to that aspect of things as well.
good point.
And I know there's rumors of a Mavic 3 Classic, which if they do that, that's actually a smart move for them. You know what I mean? That's a smart move, right? You
Hmm.
release a drone that is essentially half the price, everything that everybody wants, because nobody asked for that telephoto zoom lens. I can
Right.
guarantee you, nobody. I didn't ask for that. I don't even use it. I didn't even use
Me
it.
neither. Yeah.
So, I mean, what more can you want? I mean, at this point, what do you want? Like maybe 8K in a drone, which, I mean, we've already been down that route. 8K is not really something that many people need or want. I mean, I don't need 8K.
Yeah.
5K on the Mavic 3 is even more than I really need. I don't really need 5K. It's super sharp. It's gorgeous, but I don't want to deal with the workflow. Like the workflow is taxing.
Yep. And huge file sizes.
Huge file sizes. I don't want to deal with that. I mean, we don't even have really good storage. Like that's the other thing is like SD cards. Like we don't have really super small CFast cards. Sony makes a small CFast card, but we don't have anything smaller than those cards to write super fast because they get so
Hmm.
hot. So that's the other thing. So we're at a limitation. That's where the Mavic 3 Cine was pretty interesting because it had a built-in SSD, albeit not the fastest SSD. It was still an SSD and it did allow for higher bitrate writing,
Yeah.
but still, like I don't know. I felt like that wasn't um as tempting as I thought it was going to be. Like when I first started using the Mavic 3 Cine and I started seeing how noisy the files were, I was like, eh. But it was cool to see that they acknowledged that though. You have the Cine, right? You have the
I
Cine.
Yeah. Yeah.
How often do you use ProRes?
Hardly never.
Hardly never, right?
Never. Yeah. Never.
And when you use it and you stack that up against the H.265 file, there is a difference though. There is definitely a difference as far as noise goes, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah. I have
I
to
don't
take a
think
look
there's
at
enough.
that.
I mean, at least it was when I first started shooting on. It was definitely noisier in ProRes for some odd reason. I think they fixed it though. I think it had to do I think it has something to do with the chroma subsampling of the 10-bit. I forgot what they said, but it definitely was noisy as shit. But I mean, I've been pretty happy with that. I use that drone every single day, man. That is my go-to goat when it comes to flying, is that Mavic 3.
You know, I rarely take out the Mavic 3. You know what I've been flying every day?
What are you flying?
The Mini 3, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, all my videos have been with the Mini 3.
You know, I did a gig for I can't even say a client. It's my buddy Patrick. He's out of Kansas. He hits me up. He's got this company called Drone on Demand, and they do like videos, like walkthrough videos of, you know, apartments and stuff. He had a client here in Tampa, and he says, "Hey, you know, can I hire you to go do this gig?" So I go out there and I'm looking at this problem. I said, you know, hey, you know, we're pretty close to the airport. We're outside the airspace, but dude, this C-37 just flew overhead like super, super low for the Coast Guard. I don't know if this is something we're going to have to contend with often. And I said, I don't feel comfortable getting some of these shots with the Mavic 3 just because it's super sketchy. And, you know, you need to get these level shots for the shots he was wanting to do. So I actually, he's like, well, use the Mini 3 Pro then. I was like, hey, if you're okay with it. He's like, nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. And sure enough, watching the video, nobody could tell the difference that we used the Mini 3 Pro. They can't tell. The videos look amazing. The files came out great. He got everything he wanted out of it. No color grading. We didn't shoot in D-Cinelike or anything like that. We just shot in the standard profile. He may have had to tweak a little bit of the white balance here and there on the buildings, but that was it. And he was like, it's perfect. It's exactly what he wanted. Client's happy. He gets paid. I get paid. You know, it's like, what more can you ask for? And the best part was I minimized the risk by using this little 249 gram drone that, God forbid, a bird or something, you know, took me out and it hits the ground. It's not going to do immense amounts of damage. And I was just like, it made me feel better. Like, I like to be comfortable when I'm flying. And if I feel like a situation doesn't deem the Mavic 3, I'm not going to use it. Like, I have to do something in Tampa Friday for a client. Like, I'm still trying to get these shots for this hotel. Like, we're going back and forth with this hotel shoot, and it's been raining a lot, so I haven't been able to get the shots. But I'm contemplating just using the Mini 3 Pro. It's 4K. They want 60 frames per second. They want 10-bit. They can have it all. Mini 3 Pro. And the best part is I don't have to feel as like, I don't have to have that angst in my chest, like when I'm flying, like something could happen.
Yeah.
You know, it lets you be I wouldn't say it lets you be reckless, but it gives you a peace of mind, a little bit of comfort on it anyways.
You feel better. Yeah. You feel almost at ease.
You feel at ease. You feel at ease when you're flying it. So, I mean, I don't know. I like the Mini 3 Pro. We took it to Vegas. We didn't have any problems with it overheating. I thought it did phenomenal out there. And I thought for sure I was going to have some overheating problems with it. I had no problems with it overheating. And it was hot. And it did perfectly fine. And I mean, like, no stutter, no lag. And I'm flying with the RC Pro. That was the best thing they did, is give us that RC
update.
Pro. Brad asked me, did I sell my Air 2S? Actually, I gave my Air 2S away.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I gave it away to a friend. He wanted an Air 2S, and I gave it to him. Actually, I had an Air 2. I gave away my Air 1 to a buddy, and then he wrecks it like a week later. I give him this drone. He had a Mavic Pro, like the original Mavic Pro. I give him the drone, and I shit you not, Eddie, a freaking hawk takes him out.
Oh, wow.
The second flight he gets in with this drone, a hawk, you can see it. The hawk just slams into him, and he felt so bad. He didn't want to tell me, so he goes and buys another one. And then, like, a few months later, we were talking, and he's like, you know, I'm just going to buy the Air 2S. And I'm like, all right, yeah, it's a good drone. Do it. So he buys an Air 2S, and he's using, you know, because the Mavic Air batteries are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Well, he had a battery that was swelling, and he didn't check it before he put it in the drone.
It popped out.
Put it in the drone. He takes off, and he's flying, you know, doing his real estate shoot. He looks down. He's like, huh, the RC's black. What the hell's going on?
Aircraft disconnected.
He's like, so he walks around to the backyard, and this lady walks up to him, and she goes, hey, are you looking for a drone? And he's like, yeah, I am. She goes, oh, it crashed over here. And it's just because the battery ejected.
Crazy.
So, and that was 2 airs, man. I mean, he's got the best luck for destroying shit.
Yeah.
It always works like that, though. I'll give him something and it costs him more money because I can't even make this stuff up, man. I love my buddy Nick to death, but I gave him a Ninja Atomos monitor. He didn't need a Ninja Atomos monitor. I didn't need to complicate his life like that. I give him a Ninja Atomos monitor, and it's brand new too. It's had no problems. The fan goes, Eddie. The fan in the monitor goes. So Nick doesn't tell me this, so I can't give him a receipt or something. So he goes and gets it fixed from Ninja, and then they send him another one. It's still not functioning, and I had no idea until he told me all this, like all this was going down. But if there's a way to complicate somebody's life, I'm gonna find a way. I always complicate. I complicate the shit out of his workflow. It's funny. It's funny. He's
crazy.
So every time I say I'm going to give him something, he's like, "What's it going to cost me?" He's like, "There's a hidden cost with it." So
I can see that.
He's got some bad luck though, but yeah, the drones, that was crazy though. He took out 2 drones just because he didn't check it, but that's why I check the batteries. Even on the Mavic 3, I'm skeptical with batteries. I'm always checking batteries. I have a phobia of batteries. You know, I almost lost my Mavic 2 Pro one time with Build a Drone Reviewer. We're flying the Causeway. We're flying the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, and I land and my battery's pushing out. And I couldn't understand why. It didn't make sense. So Bill comes over and he pulls the top off. He goes, he's like, this battery's blowing up. It's swelling. This is before like anybody really knew that this was an issue. So I grab another one and the other one is swelling. So I had 4 batteries. 2 out of 4 batteries were like completely puffed.
The Mavic 2 had a bad problem with that, but the Mavic 3, I have not seen anyone with puffy batteries.
Knock on wood, we haven't seen any issues with
and I like the design of it going in the drone versus that pop-up design.
I like that. But let me ask you: do you think that's safer in an instance where there could be a potential battery puff? It just now gets stuck in the drone.
Yeah, but I'd rather it get stuck in the drone than my drone fall out the sky.
Yeah. Jody Hudson asked, should I get a Mavic 3 or Evo Light Plus? It's only $1,400 for the Fly More. It depends on your situation, man. Like, it depends on your financial situation and what you want to spend. Here's what I say to anybody. A Ford Fusion is not a BMW, right? A Ford Fusion is not a BMW. The Evo flies great. It flies great. The Ford Fusion drives well. But a BMW rides like tits on a board. Beautiful. Fucking great. Motorboat him. It's amazing. The DJI drone, it just got this certain sauce to it, man. It's got this certain sauce. They've got that flight characteristics perfected. Now, I'm not saying that Autel is bad in any stretch of the imagination, but if you've flown one before and you go to something else, you may notice a difference. But I can go back and forth and I can tell a difference. Now, I will say the Light series definitely flies the best of them all. I feel like they've really done a good job tuning it. It flies the best of them all. So if you're going to buy one, you definitely buy the Light series, even though it doesn't have 10-bit. So you're foregoing some characteristics. But I think for the most part, I think it flies the best of them. I can still pick that camera out in a fucking lineup of 20, though. 100%. Can pick it off. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to sit around and wait for this Mavic Classic, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think a lot of people are going to wait because, here's the thing about leaks lately. You hear a leak and they come true, man. They just come true. Like, I used to discount things like when the Avada first made its rounds. I said, no way. No way is DJI going to do that. No way. And then when I saw the email and they sent me all the product information, I was like, oh, fuck, I guess it's happened. I got to shut up.
Yeah.
I got to shut up now. It's happening. So now when I hear something, I'm like, I'm no longer a skeptic. I'm usually a believer, unless if it's like far, far fetched. If it's far fetched, then I'm like, eh. But I'll say even the goggles, they were spot on with what the goggles were gonna look like from all those
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
like they were spot on, man.
Remember, it was like the V2s, but like
Yeah.
kind of squished, compressed, and it sort of did look like that.
Yeah, they sort of did.
Yeah,
they sort of did. Sorry, I'm just
but
over here monitoring printers, making sure they're actually fucking doing what they're supposed to do.
the classic would be a cool release though. Like if I had to go back,
Yeah,
and buy the Mavic 3,
I would buy I would buy a classic.
I would buy a classic as well. Yeah.
You know, why would I want to spend more? Like I don't use that search, that tele camera. I don't use it. I've used it maybe, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 times I've used it. That's it. 4 or 5 times. Every other time I'm like, I forget it's there, I guess. I really forget it's there.
Every time I attempted to use it to get like the compressed shot, right? Like use some compression. When I sit down on the computer and I look at the shot, I'm never satisfied with how it looks, and I never end up leveraging it.
David's asked, so what about the Inspire 3? I haven't heard anything about an Inspire 3 as of right now. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of leaks, a lot of rumors, but like an Inspire 3 is out of my budget. Like, I mean, that's out of my,
that's
like,
a serious machine.
Like that's a machine where you have to be really doing something where you're going to be able to make back that money. Now, I'm not going to say I couldn't make that money back doing what I do, but it's like, for me, I've gotten so complacent where I just grab my drone out, pop it up in the air. The Mavic 3 doesn't cause a really a big commotion. It causes a little commotion. People come out, hey, what's that? Are you spying on me? No, sir. Go back in your house. Shut the fuck up. An Inspire 3, I mean, I feel like I would have to give my social security card every time I took off, bend over, spread my cheeks.
I would be afraid to fly an Inspire in today's world.
Like, yeah, same. It would get shot down or something, you know? Could you imagine? Oh, yeah. God, I would be pissed. I would be so pissed. I would have my FAA number all over that thing. So if it went down, no matter where it went, I would find a piece of it, and I would just, oh, man, I would sue the fuck out of them. Oh, God, that hurts my chest even thinking about it. Like seeing people's shit get shot out of the air. It's just,
yeah.
I told you when I was testing out the Matrice 300 with the H20N, we were flying it at night doing a thermal test. And I kid you not, this guy comes out of his backyard with a gun.
Oh, wow.
And he's like threatening me and my friend, and my buddy Mike's with me, and my buddy Mike's really good at diffusing situations. I didn't realize he had a gun, and I'm over there ready to talk shit, and he's like, dude, he's got a gun. I'm like, well, you got a gun. And he was able to diffuse the situation. The guy comes over, he's like, well, I got a Mavic. I was going to get my Mavic out and figure out what's going on. We were like, no, we're just testing, you know. He's like, well, he goes, how long are you going to be? My dogs are going crazy. So the situation de-escalated very quickly, but that could have been a situation where, you know, a $30,000 review unit gets blown out of the air. I wouldn't even know what to do at that point. I would cry. I would cry.
That's a scary situation.
I mean, it was crazy, but that's why I try not, like, that's the best thing about, like, I like flying with people because they get your back. Like, even when I'm flying non FPV drones, I like to have a spotter lately because they just get your, you know, they got your six. They can see, they can see behind you and just like, hey, somebody's walking up, you know, or whatever the case is. It makes me a lot less leery when I'm flying. Or like when I flew in that park, I had that squirrel spotting me.
Oh, yeah.
Harry did a great job. Harry was the best spotter I've had in a long time. I mean, that squirrel was great. I mean, super, super nice guy. So, you know, it all depends, but yeah. So 9:59, Eddie, we had a hell of a good stream. I think we're back on track. So a lot of people have been asking me recently, what happened to the past couple of live streams? They would see the live stream, they would go to click on it, and it's gone. So I screwed those live streams up, Eddie. I screwed those live streams up because I say something and I'm like, probably shouldn't have said that. Probably shouldn't have did that. So I pull them down. I did make one of them members only. And then I was like, no, okay. And I watched it. I watched the whole thing and I said, well, maybe it can be, it's fine. But then I got a message and I was like, maybe I should pull it down. It's, you know, unwanted heat on someone. I'm like, that's not fair to them. So I was like, I'll pull that down. And then I did another one recently where I just went off on somebody, which I could have left that up, but the more I started thinking about it, I was like, do I really want to give it any more oxygen than I already gave it? Right. I'm trying this thing out. I'm trying this thing where I try to take the high road, like where I'm just going to be like, you know what? You're not worth my time and energy. I'm just going to walk away. I got better things to worry about. So I'm going to start trying that and see how that goes, because like I got to do something about the stress level. Stress level's too high. So I'm just going to try that out and see if that works. But then if it doesn't work, we'll just go back to burning down the high road. Like just burn it to the ground, baby. We'll let it burn. So let's quickly, because we waited till the very end to do this. Let's go through, Eddie. We'll just greet the chat a little bit here. So we got Michael Belshie made it in. Michael, we got Maddie's Drone World. We got Joe Fotoleo. Lon's here. We've got, I'm just going to call you Rasho. Quadcopters and Tech. Jonathan Jackson. We got B-Man FPV. I saw Michael Walsh in the house. Let's see who else we got here. We got Kelly Takai.
Hal 9000.
You can't quit. You can't quit. Hal 9000 just wild, dude. He's just, I don't know who he is, man. It's a mystery. The man of mystery guy, dude. Eddie, are you Hal 9000 and you're just messing with us?
Nah, Hal 9000 needs to get on the stream though one day. That'll be a heck of a stream.
Well, Yellow Rose Drone says he's been listening to the stream, but he's not typing much because he's driving. That's a good thing. We wouldn't want you to get into an accident watching the stream. I'm sure I can say, pull over first. Right, that's a liability. We don't want you driving and doing this. Michael Blade FPV's in the house. Lambo Drives, Zambo.
David J. Peterson.
Whew. A lot of new members. A lot of new members. David Peterson, he's a good guy.
There goes Hal 9000 with
Hal 9000 with David. I don't know, man. This a lot of new members. I see Northside Hawk. I got the chance to chat with Northside Hawk tonight. Northside Hawk's from Australia, which is I love the Australian people, man. I feel like eventually I'm gonna get down under there. I may not come back. If I go down under, I may not come back, just because that's the vibe. The Australians are just a whole new vibe of life. So I may have to go down there. 808's driving, and I'm glad he's driving and he's responding. Let me tell you about this son of a bitch driving. 808 State doesn't just drive. He's like a rocket ship. You know, when you think of Hawaii, you think it's a small island, but the big island is it's a big island. And the roads are like divoted. Like there's just, I don't know. It's like a roller coaster. It's not actually like a roller coaster, but the way 808 drives, it feels like you're at Six Flags, how fast he's driving. Multiple times while we were driving, my hand was firmly clenched to the oh shit handle the entire time. Did you know the passenger seat has brakes, Eddie?
Really?
No, neither did I, but I was fucking stomping on something.
Oh, yeah.
I was stomping on something, hoping that there was brakes in the passenger seat. That fucker. Yeah, very, very, very aggressive driver. I can't wait to go back and do it all over again and see my life flash before my eyes every time we go driving. Such a fun time. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button before you leave the stream. It does something. I don't know what it does, but it does something. We're going to be back again next Wednesday. We'll have the same stream, same great place. I appreciate everybody's support this past week. There's so many of you that you know, whether you said something, came out, talked about a situation that occurred this week. I appreciate, you know, you guys being there. And that's what I talked about, like in those streams, like when we talk about the community, like I may not have the largest channel and subscriber account, but I probably have one of the best user bases, the best communities, like tight knit. Like I would say very tight knit, like subscribers that are like, I know them. I've flown with many of them. I've interacted with most of them in some capacity. So to that, all I could say is thank you very, very much. I appreciate all of you for being a part of the channel for as long as we have. We just recently crossed 60,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 61. We're going to stop at 69. I'm kidding. Terrible. And then we'll go up from there. But that's it. I will see you all next week. Eddie, you have anything else to add? You don't really ever add anything, Ed.
No, see you next week. See you next week.
All right. Stay original.
Maybe I'll just get out my head and focus on what I know's coming. Yeah. Cause I can't fall asleep at night without seeing my dreams.
The music is still going?
No, the stream's over, Ed. It's over. That's it. We're done. Next week. We're back next week, Eddie. I got to tell you, dude, I don't know if I read the bottle on this on the resin that I poured in there. It didn't say anything about inhaling it.
Like no warning about inhaling it?
Not a single warning. Now, the bottle was created in China, so maybe they're just used to that over there in the factories that it's like it's normal.
Who knows?
But I got to tell you, dude, I'm higher than that time I did a line of coke off a stripper's ass.
Shit. But maybe they don't. There's no warning because they wear masks 24/7 over there.
That's a good point. But either way, I feel like I want breakfast. You want eggs, Eddie?
Yeah.
Let's go get eggs.
Let's
We're going to go.